Welcome. Take a seat, enjoy a drink, while we tell you another of Tikiracer's Tales of Terror.
Now that I look back at our time in that so-called paradise, I see how simple and naive life was for me back then. Knowing all that I know now, it's impossible to understand how man can still be so cruel to one's fellow man. If only they knew the true portrait of the universe we live in. It was the year of 1922, almost 4 years ago. Seems more like 4 lifetimes now. Myself and a small group of university professors had set sail for the Society Islands in the South Pacific, also known as the Cook Islands, so named after the infamous explorer Captain Cook, who first discovered the islands in 1773. I had not long now before my time on this earth must end. The Miskatonic University in the USA had sponsored our endeavour. We were a team from Oxford, England, researching the gods of Oceania, a region of islands in the South Seas. I was an expert in arts and crafts, having studied under the eminent Professor Sven Kirsten. Our number also included a Mr. James Petter, a trader of antiquities, an enterprising fellow who was never happier than when he discovered a perfect specimen to add to his vast collection. That's why we called him Trader Jim. The other key member of our team from the Miskatonic University was American Professor Christopher Osborne, an expert in the little-known island of Rapa Nui, or Easter Island. The records of his recent expedition in 1919 to that said lonely island still remain in the secret university library under lock and key. We spent a happy but humid summer preparing for our expedition to those paradise islands, thrust from the depths of the ocean floor eons ago. Our goal, although it seems so simplistic now, was to catalogue and record the native stories and folklore of their gods and religions. With the introduction of Western influences into Cook's first discovery, the old ways were being forgotten, and with almost no written language, we felt it was our role as scientists to put on record a complete ancient history of these peaceful folk. We should have listened to them. We should have, damn it. Our small team also consisted of 4 students and 1 native speaker named Carlos. We planned to remain on the island of Rarotonga for about 6 to 8 months. We would need to be flexible due to our main transport being copra trading ships. These merchantmen swapped modern materials and foodstuffs with the natives in exchange for copra, a dried pulp from the coconut fruit, the oil of which is a valuable commodity. Our journey was going well. We had enough room on board to prepare our equipment and time to reread the journals of Pedro Quiros, the first Westerner to visit the islands. It was only after the crew found out about our science project that it began to become quiet and withdrawn. The islander crew, who acted as guides to the dangerous reefs that surround the islands, were first to stop talking to the team, giving us only long, worried looks. Then the remaining Western crew became distant and would only converse when spoken to directly. So it was that our small band of scientists were very happy to finally see the island of Rarotonga come into sight. This emerald gem, capped with wisps of racing white cloud, shone in the hot sun and seemed to lift the dark mood that had been hanging over the ship for the past few weeks. As we drew closer, outrigger canoes full of smiling natives came out to meet us, offering local arts and crafts to trade. We had to remind Trader Jim that we were going to live on the island for some time, as he was all too keen to obtain any good examples he could. After a short farewell to the captain, we joined the islanders in their canoes and headed to our new paradise home. We will come to know the people of the Cook Islands by residing in the village of Rutaki, on the south side of the island. Once Carlos had made all the correct introductions to the huge group of islanders waiting for us on the beach, a feast was held in our honour. We were treated to a umakai, a traditional meal of fruits, fish and meats of every description, washed down with fruit juices and coconut milk. There was dancing and laughter until the early hours. These people really do live in paradise. But please do not think of them as savages. They have knowledge of this universe that some may scoff as myth or quaint old religions, but they enjoy every day of this life on earth, because they know the truth. The truth. They know where I am. He wants it back. Our first few weeks on the island were like a schoolboy's adventure, exploring, eating amazing new foods and diving in the crystal clear ocean. It was the last of these pastimes the islanders seemed a little uncomfortable with. Of course, they spent a huge amount of time at sea fishing, but they would never swim in the open ocean. But it wasn't all hulas and luau's though. We were here to do important science. With the aid of Carlos, our interpreter, Professor Osborne soon got introductions to the elders of the village and started recording, by the way of shorthand, the history of these island people and of their religion. They seemed to worship a number of gods, which included the usual creator deities, gods of war, love and the like. All of the canoes carried a wooden fisherman totem or statue on the prow of the vessel to protect them at sea. It was on the 34th day of our expedition when Jim discovered the black canoe. He was searching for some examples of carved drinking cups when he uncovered a derelict hut a distant part of the beach. Being the only one around, and a gentleman, he knocked, as best he could, on a palm leaf door and went in. The only thing inside was a 5-man outrigger canoe made from a black wood, like nothing he'd ever seen before on the island or in his vast collection. The one more prominent feature was the fact that the fisherman god on the front was different to the others we'd seen. Its mouth parts were octopus tentacles. They're coming. I hear them. Of not long now. Now, as you can imagine, Trader Jim was very excited about his new find and rushed back to the village. However, as soon as Carlos started to translate the many questions that Jim had, the islanders went white with fear and would not speak on the subject.